Southwest Conference in offense, yet it's the defense that has their head coach Jimmy Wacker grinning from ear to ear, Dave.
And he should be grinning from ear to ear. TCU's defense has played outstanding football this season. You think of the names: Simeon, Spradlin, Trammell, Terrell, Newton, but they'll have to play well today, Phil, because they're facing a Texas Tech offense that has averaged over 400 yards, and they're very balanced, both passing and running.
Well, when you have the raw material we have in this ball game this afternoon, you hate to have weather play a factor. It won't today. Unseasonably warm conditions, temperatures in the high 60s, brilliant sunshine. Oh, man, we expect an offensive extravaganza, and we'll be back to Lubbock to kick it off for you. TCU and Texas Tech are next.
Representative, of course, Texas with their perfect record, but only having played 3 games. Then you've got Arkansas and TCU. TCU has really come on recently. They could be the force as we go into the latter part of this season.
Well, Jimmy Wacker has him playing exceptionally good football, and there he is in his 5th season in Fort Worth. Now, we sat with him for the better part of an hour, hour and a half yesterday, and I'll tell you what, he loves to talk football.
Oh, he does, and he's very, very proud of his defense. He said that's the biggest surprise that he's had this year is his defense. They're playing just exceptional football.
We're ready. Scott Sechrist lets it fly. It is Reggie Davis, 3 yards deep. He'll go down on a knee. And the Horned Frogs will begin today's ball game from their own 20-yard line. On his way is David Rasco, the junior quarterback out of Houston, Texas. His numbers are impressive, but he gets swallowed up when you've got the likes of a Tony Jeffrey and a Tony Darthard in the backfield. The offensive line that blasts those holes, boy, that is a good fivesome right there. Led by Mike Sullivan and Brian Brazel. First and 10, here's a surprise. Rasco to put it up. Swings it to the near side. It is Jeffrey. Crosses the 25-yard line, fumbles the football. And I believe it is recovered by TCU.
Well, Phil, this is a good way to fool your defense. What they do is they slip Jeffrey out in the flat, but watch the hit that comes from inside. He has to wait for his lineman. There's the hit. Great hand on the ball. Just rips it out. Looked as if it was Artis Jackson coming along there, number 69.
A gain of 9. Second down and 1 from the 29. In motion is Bednarski. It is Jeffrey skirting the right side, and he is down, short of the first down. Donald Harris, the free safety, he plays the run exceptionally well. Now, we talked about TCU's defense here at Texas Tech. Spike Dykes likes that foursome right there, and for good reason. Desmond Royal, James Mosley on the right side. 2 pretty tough customers. The linebacking core, Rollins, Durden, Michael Johnson has moved back to the outside where he belongs. In the defensive backfield, it's a good one. But they're going to have to play the run to stop the Horned Frogs this afternoon, Dave.
That's the number one thing, and you can see they're going to go to the run right away. There's the wishbone.
On the left side, here in the backfield is Tony Darthard. Oh, man, I spoke of James Mosley, the junior right end, and oh, did he stick Darthard.
I'll tell you one thing, he really comes up and sticks him. Watch on the right side of your screen. He slips underneath. There's third. Look at him right there. Bam, that's a big league hit. Oh boy, if they can do that to Jeffrey, they may stymie this great running attack that TCU has.
Remember, TCU had its 2nd and 1, and they were unable to convert. On 4th down, it is Becker who puts it in the air. A return for Thurman, but not far. He is down at the 28-yard line. A 54-yard punt off the toe of the conference's leading punter.
Oh, boy, and Becker is just an outstanding punter. He gives them great field position.
Billy Joe Tolliver. 2 years ago, he made his name against the Horned Frogs. And what a day he had. It is an offense that is not without firepower. Namely, James Gray and Wayne Walker, the flanker. The offensive line, Charles Odiorn anchoring the left side, but it is the pride and joy, Mike McBride, the senior right guard, who Gray and Ferris love to run behind. Across the 30, out across the 35,
run. We thought it was going to be the Tony and Tony show on offense running. But wow, James Gray, and what a great block they got on Floyd Terrell. We may see it on the replay after the kick, but it was an outstanding block on Terrell. You just don't do that often.
Scott Sechrist nails the point after. Indeed, you're absolutely right, Dave. What a block on Floyd Terrell.
They just stop him right there. Great block. There's the block. That's the control. Look, turned inside. You see it? That was Charles Odiorn, and I mean, he blocked him. And look at Gray. Burst it down the sidelines. No one's going to catch him. He skips it in the end zone. Touchdown. Unbelievable play. Now you'll see it again. It's going to be on the right side of your screen. You're going to see 75 swing out. Now watch the block coming in there. There's 79 Odiorn. What a block on Terrell. That was an outstanding block.
For James Gray, it's his 12th touchdown of the year, his 11th on the ground. Oh, we told you a moment ago we expected an offensive shootout, and it has begun.
Start this game. That was just a tremendous burst through the line, and he was off and running.
Only the second touchdown the Horned Frogs have allowed in the last 11 quarters. That is Reggie Davis at the 6-yard line, right up the gut across the 20, knocked off his feet at the 23. Well, Texas Christian comes into this ball game 5-3 overall, 3-1 in conference play. And Dave, to win this ball game, the Horned Frogs must do what?
Well, they must run. That's the whole story. That's what they run the ball 78% of the time. They've got to stop the long pass, and they've got to get pressure on Tolliver. They've got to be able to control this game on the ground. They're not a great passing team.
That is Tony Jeffrey, and he runs right in behind Rob Adams, the gentle giant, left guard on the sophomore out of Crowley High School.
Phil, one thing with Jeffrey, he will pound on you. He's the kind of back that picks up 3, 4, 5 yards and all of a sudden explodes through there. No one has been able, we talked about that, no one has really been able to stop him. And Spike Dykes in his talk this week says, I don't know what we can do to stop him. Nobody else has.
Second down and 6 from the 27. That is Tony Darthard. Tony, the sophomore out of Freeport. Boy, at Brazosport High School, 4,600 yards in his prep career.
And Phil, his #1 asset is, of course, blocking this year. He's only a sophomore, so he's a great blocker for Tony Jeffrey, and he has done an outstanding job. He was not penciled in to be the starter when this season began, but he had such a fine spring, and coming into the preseason practice that he's up there, and he's got great stats of his own, averaging 6.9 yards. And you can see Wacker there saying, come on, let's get this thing cranked up.
3rd and 3. They convert 45% of the time, and they'll get that one. It is Darthard. Again, following Sullivan and Brazel over the right side.
They may have to measure this. When he went down, he kind of slid along the line. I see the referees are looking. They're spotting the ball, and now they're looking over to see if it is, in fact, the first down. And it is.
Referee is Wendell Shelton. Ball spotted, just nosing across the 33-yard line. Well, Texas Christian began the 1987 season, Dave, 0-2. And boy, what a job they have done since that terrible start. Winners of 5 of their last 6 ball games. 1st and 10 from the 33. The give is to Darthard as he tries to scoot through the left side again, following Adams.
And Phil, one of the things that they're doing right now is they're giving it to the fullback up the middle. Now, what that has a tendency to do is to draw your linebackers inside, because that's where the power football goes. You give it to the fullback, give it to the fullback. All of a sudden, that quarterback takes it out of the fullback, flips it wide, and those linebackers are thinking inside, and all of a sudden, you burst the big one on them.
It's 2nd and 7. The Horned Frogs showing pass. Let's go to put it up. Throws. It is complete. What a catch at the 45-yard line by Tony Jeffrey. Also in the neighborhood was Reggie Davis, a gain of 18.
What a catch. Watch the tail end of his catch. When Jeffrey gets hit in the head, he loses all his balance. Now watch right in here. You can see the hand come across. Look at the concentration. He gets pulled, almost takes off his head. Gosh, what a great catch. That is a beautiful catch. Great concentration, looking the ball all the way into his hands.
At the top of your screen, it is Wayne Waddy, split to the right. Arthur. That is strictly power football.
And that's what we're seeing today. It's just straight power football. And Michael Johnson, 42, is going to play a big part in this game. He's got to get inside. Look there. He's the man. He's their leading tackler. 122 tackles coming into this game. He's got the ability where they switched him inside to play when Durden got hurt, and now he's back outside where he's much more comfortable. He's got great range from that weak side linebacker spot.
First down, ball on the 42-yard line. Jeffrey in motion. The give is to Scott Bednarski, the fullback, and he is met helmet to helmet by Johnson.
Boy, that's another stick. When you see a running back, anytime you see a running back just fall right back on his rear, you know he's been stuffed. And that time Bednarski, as he got the ball, got hit right on the line and just almost looked as if he just sat down. That's what you call a stuff.
Now Johnson comes into the ball game with 122 tackles. The Horned Frog, certainly one of the best mascots in all of college football. Bresco waits for a man to clear. He's looking for Davis. Touchdown, Horned Frogs.
Well, I'll tell you this, Reggie Davis, they call him Mr. Clutch. He is the one. Now look at this. He breaks off the pattern. It's not bad coverage. It's double coverage. But look, he gets behind him. Look at the concentration on his way down. That's why he is such a clutch receiver. That's why he's got the nickname Mr. Clutch.
Lee Newman hits the point after, and with 9:08 to play in the first period, we're deadlocked at 7.
And it's an excellent pass. Rasco doesn't get a lot of comments on his passing, but this is an outstanding pass. There it is.
Well, David Rasco, he began the year as a backup to Scott Ankrum, but he has brought the Horned Frogs even. Well, thus far, it has been a reversal of what we thought. The Texas Tech Red Raiders scoring on a 72-yard run by James Gray. And the Horned Frogs scoring on a long pass from David Rasco.
Well, that's true. It has been a little reversal, but they will settle back into what they do best. But I think one thing that is really we were aware of to start is the amount of offense. These two teams combined are scoring running over 800 yards of offense combined, and that is an unbelievable figure.
Hey, we got to get in and out of the huddle. In and out of the huddle. We're coming close on you.
Short kick. It is Rodney Blackshear, and he is smothered at the 19-yard line. Now, oftentimes, those kicks into the end zone aren't the best way, and there was a good example of that. Good hang time on that kickoff.
And look at the sun right in his eyes. You can see he misguides it. Right there's the smart thing to do. Just get down on the ground and cover it. Don't worry about it. Look how fast the TCU people, well, you can see them in the shadow there coming into the play. They were right down there.
Recovered by James McGowan, 1985 leading rusher, sat out all of last year. It's 1st and 10 now for the Red Raiders. Explosive hole through the right side. Philando Newton, the free safety, knocks the fullback off his feet. A gain of 18.
And this is a misdirection play. Look at all the action. Now watch the linebacker in the back. See, he bites on the fake and falls down. Oh. Look at the hole back here. Now watch. He's trying to set up his blocker here. He's trying to get Eddie Anderson set up. He busts right into Eddie Anderson. If he could have set up that block and just hesitated for a second, it might have gone even farther.
From the 38-yard line, 8:46 to play, first period. James Gray, who has a 72-yard touchdown run, gains 7 more. What a hole opened by Mike McBride.
And there's the Red Raiders must. Of course, we think they have got to stop the TCU running game and don't commit turnovers. They have had a terrible time in turnovers. They fumbled the ball 24 times, thrown 10 interceptions, and they have got to have good play out of Tolliver and, of course, Toman if he gets a chance to get in there. It's a little bit different than what we thought, but I think they're going to settle back into what they do best.
Wide receiver split to the top of your screen. The give again, a little crossbuck to Garnett. And it is Paul Llewellyn, 24-year-old junior out of Fort Worth. Now, what happened? I thought college players graduated at 21.
Well, let me tell you something about him. He played, of course, he played 4.5 years of minor league baseball. I think it was minor league baseball.
Yes.
And then decided to come back to college and get his education. And he's been an outstanding force in that middle.
There you see the down and distance, third and about 2 feet. Mitchell Benson jumped on defense, but was he pulled offside? I don't believe so.
Well, I think you'll see on the jump, Tolliver comes out and he changes the sound. See the sound right there? Linemen are taught, and a good move by the center. You snap that ball when the man comes across, but linemen are taught to go on movement of the ball. You don't go on sound. You can see the call, offsides against TCU. Tolliver does a good job of that.
Who's the best quarterback you ever saw at changing the cadence?
Oh, yeah, Bob Greasy did that.
Bet.
He did that fantastically. He would come out, and of course, they go on 2 all the time. All of a sudden, he'd come out there in a critical situation and go on 3. And gosh, the 2 sound, he would kill you on it.
Tolliver. Give us to James Gray on a play that took way too long to develop, and Paul Llewellyn sniffed it out.
Well, one thing, Trammell is going to be a big part in there. Now, he's down there. You can see now, he's the one that sets the play up and makes him run around. See right there, he makes the back turn around. Now, that allows Llewellyn to get in there. Look at that tackle by Llewellyn. Gosh, that's just a picture tackle. Right in there, just tackles and just wraps him up. Picture perfect.
You saw a moment ago on that replay, Trammell and Mike McBride locking horns, 2 of the premier trenchmen in the Southwest Conference. There's the draw. It is James Gray. He's across the 45, down near the 42. Good hole opened by Jeff Keith. Trammell, who you spoke of a moment ago, Dave, with help from Floyd Terrell. 2 guys that redshirted a year ago.
Yeah, they came back, and that's quite a tribute to the program. When you get a 5th-year senior and he says, okay, I'll redshirt a year and I'll come back and play. I think that's quite a tribute to these programs. And both these programs have got outstanding futures. Their future is ahead of them.
3rd down and 6. The ball at the 42-yard line. In motion, the Smurf. Tyrone Thurman. Tolliver looking right now, looks left, pulling for Thurman, and it is intercepted by Newton.
Well, Philanda Newton is number 1. He's standing in the background there. He's playing the quarterback's eyes. Now, the quarterback zeroes in. The receiver never turns around. Newton looks as if he's the intended receiver. You can see he tips it. He comes back down. The ball looked as if it was going to Tyrone Thurman, and Thurman never looked back for the ball. Newton played the eyes of the quarterback, and he comes up with his 7th interception. That's quite a year.
A 41-yard return. Newton leading the Southwest Conference in interceptions. Vasco looking deep, chased out of the pocket, gets out of the grasp. Eddie Kittle had him for a loss of 10 yards and let him go.
You can see that Rasco's fixing his shoulder pads. Kittle almost pulled his jersey off his body. He had him hooked up there in the arm, in the upper arm, and he tried to rip him down. What you want to do in a situation like that is, first of all, you can't let go. Second of all, when you've got him, you just hang on for help. Don't let him go, because someone like Rasco can recover and pick up that receiver or run like he did.
The Frogs out of the wishbone. Jeffrey, Barthard, and Bednarski, the running backs. That is Rasco. Donald Harris on the stop. A gain of 4. It'll be 2nd down and 6 now from the Red Raiders 26.
And that Donald Harris, number 2, that you see in your picture, he is someone who plays every down. Just a freshman back there playing.
Correction, 3rd down and 2.
Just a freshman. Wow. Yeah, how did he get out of Baylor? In Waco in Baylor University territory?
I'll tell you what. Eddie Kittle jumped and immediately pointed at somebody in a white jersey.
Yes, he did. You can see Kittle. He went across and made contact. He thought there was movement on the line. Now the referees are in there, and what they're doing is they're discussing, did you see movement by anybody? He made contact and touched, and it went against him. He could have gotten back. That was interesting. He could have gotten back onside. Let's see if we see it now. He's on the right side right there. Now, see if you see any movement at all by those offensive linemen. There's the movement. See, now, look, Kittle. He just puts his hands back on top of him. Now, Hopkins might have moved a little bit, but he never came out of his stance.
Jared Delaney going wide to the right. He's the flanker. Picked up one-on-one coverage out there by Lemuel Stinson. The kid through the left side. It is Tony Jeffrey. He is stopped by Michael Johnson, a gain of 10.
Well, the center is going to play an important part in this game, and that's Clint Haley, 52. He's got to get that tackle and blow him out. It's a double team, and wow. Then he's got to come off and pick up the middle linebacker. That right there is a plus block. You get an even mark for when you take care of your man, but you get a plus when you do something like that. That's why he grades out at 91% week after week in his blocking.
2nd and 1. Jeffrey gets the first down. Jeffrey, the senior out of Gladewater High School. Hard to believe that when he came to Texas Christian as a freshman, he weighed 185 pounds. Now he tips the scale at 205.
And they say that Jeffrey is one of the real physical specimens on this team. He can do so many different things. He's not the bulky, strong person, but he's someone that has great strength, but he's got great mobility. And you can see the rushing yards there. Wow, they are really, that is an unbelievable statistic to average that much rushing.
1st and goal, Texas Christian from the 10-yard line. Boy, listen to the popping going on down there. Tony Arthur, the ball carrier.
Well, Phil, we're 100 yards from the action, and I can hear that popping up here in the stands. These guys, they know the importance of this game. They know the tradition. TCU has come in here. I think they've only won 2 times since 1963. And we talked about that game 2 years ago where they got the socks taken off of them.
3 minutes, 43 seconds remaining in the opening period. We are at Jones Stadium in Lubbock, Texas. I'm Phil Stone with Dave Rowe. Texas Tech scored first. An explosive 72-yard run from James Gray. But back came Texas Christian on a pass from David Rasco to Reggie Davis. Rasco throwing into double coverage. Davis using all of his 6'3", 218-pound ability to get to the football and take it away. We're tied at 7.
And we just saw Lemuel Stinson coming off the field. He's the cornerback who had force on that last play. He's the one that came up and made the big pop. And of course, he's coming off the field. He's a little bit shaky. He's taking quite a shot. He went head-to-head with Tony Jeffrey on that last play.
Jim Vasquez has come on to replace Stinson at right corner. Rasco rolling right. He's got room. Lee Newman on to boot the point after the junior out of Garland is perfect.
Well, you can see what happens when a quarterback gets even up, and he's got that option whether to turn up or whether to pitch. Now he gets outside the containment. See the 2 players inside? They were thinking inside all the way. Rasco's got the pitch. If he wants it, he takes it and brings it right in. You'll see the outside linebacker, and that's Donald Harris. He's going to get caught up in the action too. And as they start to pitch the ball right here, you see 58 miss his play. He's got to force the quarterback.
Clock stops, 3:39 to play, and it is Texas Christian out in front, 14-7.
I don't know what they are. But, you know, another matchup we're going to see is Llewellyn, the middle linebacker. His brother plays for Texas.
That's right.
That's going to be quite a matchup, too, to see a brother-brother combination. I bet they don't even talk that week.
Well, you talk about matchups. We have an outstanding one right before our very eyes. Lee Newman to boot it away. Short kick. Dudley McAfee at the 18-yard line. Across the 29, out near the 30, maybe the 31. We're so used to seeing Wayne Walker and Tyrone Thurman return kicks for the Red Raiders. They are not back there today. They are simply worn out.
Yes, they are. But that drive right there, Phil, shows that 6 plays, of course, was set up by that great interception by Philanda Newton. It gave him great field position down on 34, and they ran that ball in. That's the trait of that TCU team, running. And the trait of that young man, Tolliver, is passing. I would look for him to get back into his passing game.
Tolliver, play action. Looking deep, receiver falls down. Pass was intended for Eddie Anderson. As he was cutting to the center of the field, he lost his footing. Well, you talked about that guy right there. Billy Joe Tolliver, 2 years ago as a freshman in his first start for the Red Raiders. He set a conference record against Texas Christian, passing for 422 yards.
I didn't know if you passed every time you could pass for that many yards, but he did. Look at that. 422 yards. That's a Southwest Conference record.
2nd and 10. There's a little crossbuck to the fullback, Irvin Ferris, the junior out of Trimble Tech in Fort Worth. Ron Lewis, the junior from Copperas Cove, Texas, tackles him after a gain of 6.
And again, Phil, we're seeing a lot of misdirection play. Texas Tech knows that TCU reacts very well to the ball. Their linebackers are outstanding linebackers, and what they're trying to do is to get them to overreact and cut back against the grain. Those plays are like sprint draws, hesitation plays where they give a counter motion and come back across the play.
In the slot to the top of your screen is Wayne Walker. It is 3rd down and 5. 3 down for Texas Tech. The ball is up in the air, almost intercepted by Newton again. There's a flag down. I believe it'll go against the Horned Frogs. So in essence, Tolliver knew he had a free down and just put it up for grabs.
He certainly did. He had a free down. The center, they reacted. Now you may be able to see this jump. What he's doing is he's coming out there, and they've been going on 2. Comes out Hutt. He emphasizes that second. Look, it pulls every one of the linemen off. Not 1 or 2, but that shows you how voice inflection. I've been down on that field, and I've had that same thing happen to me, and the coach says, can't you see the ball? It's a foot in front of you. But you're so used to, you get used to that cadence.
Of course, you never jumped as a Raider, did you?
I set an NFL record one time. I jumped off the first 3 plays of the game. Finally, I realized they weren't going on 2.
I bet Madden loved that.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're going to see how close this ball is. They want to make sure that it's not a first down, or that it is a first down. I think what he said is it's about an inch away. Now look how the referee's down there and saying, put it right there.
Let's go, big back. Come on, let's go, Jake.
That will create a 4th down situation in about 3 inches. Correction, 3rd down.
Well, our scoreboard shows 4th down, but I believe it. Yeah, maybe it is. You're right.
Yeah, wait a minute, I was right. It is 4th down.
You are. I beg to differ. This is quite a point in the game. Well, now maybe they'll change it on the sideline marker.
It has to be 3rd down.
Yeah,
they took the penalty. It is 3rd down.
Boy, heads up call there, big guy.
Tolliver over center. Look at that defensive alignment for the Frogs. Frogs jump again. Flags are down. James Gray has the first down. Philanda Newton on the tackle. Boy, Newton, the junior out of Wyatt High School in Fort Worth, he could play in the NFL tomorrow.
He certainly could. Rick Johnson says that Rick Johnson is our defensive coordinator, said he's just playing as well or better than anybody in the Southwest Conference. And he may be one of the better safeties to ever play here. Let's see if you can hear the cadence. We might be able to hear what the voice inflection of Tolliver when he comes up to the line. Maybe we can hear that.
Here it is a moment ago.
You hear the emphasis on it. Hut, hut, like that. That's what draws them off sides.
And there's Philanda Newton. If he stays healthy, he's going to make some NFL team in a little more than a year very, very happy. There's the draw to James Gray. That is the exact play that went for 72 yards. And the Red Raider touchdown early in this ball game. Greg Moore, the sophomore out of Huffman, Texas, on the tackle. 2:01 remaining in the first period from Jones Stadium in Lubbock.
So One advantage that TCU has is they have so many defensive players who can play. They switch 5 defensive tackles and 3 ends in there in just 4 positions. So they've got a lot of turnover. They keep a lot of people fresh out there.
2nd down and 7. The ball at the 48. Tolliver wants to put it up under no pressure at all. The pass is complete to Eddie Anderson. Anderson cracks the 40-yard line down near the 39. Andre Spencer on the tackle.
And Eddie Anderson, the first part is catching the ball. You'll see the respect that the defensive player has for him. When Anderson catches his ball and it's coming right into your TV set, no one's around him. Now, this is where he's the threat. When he turns around and gives you that little juke, there's a miss. There's an extra 4 or 5 yards. He is a great threat at 5'9", only 160 pounds, but great speed.
Wayne Walker wide to the left. Tolliver again with time. Throwing. It is caught, and the ball is fumbled. The pass intended for Tyrone Thurman. Now the officials will say it is incomplete.
Well, you're going to see this ball. What happens is they just don't look it in. And watch this ball. It's going to land up on the shoulder of the wide receiver. He catches it behind him a little bit. Right there, you got to bring it in. There's 1 foot down, and you can see the ball coming clear. Of course, the heads-up play there on the receiver, but it all goes for naught. That was Wayne Walker came in and received the ball afterwards, but it went for naught.
So it's now 2nd down and 10 from the 40-yard line. In motion, Gray. Tolliver looking left. Now comes back right. Intended for Gray. He's open.
I'll tell you, the first part of that play is an unbelievable play by Tolliver to stand in the pocket. Tolliver gets smacked. Watch when he lets go of the ball. Bam! He doesn't see what happens to that ball. Gray comes across, makes an outstanding catch right on the fingertips. Tolliver never saw who caught that. That was Spradlin that's come in there. That's Mr. Intensity for that defense, and I mean, he leveled Tolliver on that play.
1st and goal from the 5 as the Red Raiders looking to tie this game up. 57 seconds remaining in the first period. It is 1st and goal, Texas Tech. Scott Tolman is now in at quarterback. James Gray, as you can hear the crunching going on in the trenches. A gain of 3. 2nd and goal now from just inside the 2-yard line.
Wow, the way the sound of those plays, you'd almost get the feeling that they got microphones down there. I mean, this is all-out football. Now Tolman comes in a tough position. Evidently Tolliver on that shot got shooken up. I haven't been able to pick him up on the sideline, but yes, I do. I see him on the sideline. Looks like he's ready to go back in, but maybe Tolman will take him in.
Down near the goal line, a gain of 1. Isaac Garnett, 5'11", 225 pounds. Tell you what, he's got the kind of physical stature that if he stood still long enough, somebody'd hook a fire hose to him.
Well, they call them squatty bodies, don't they?
They do. That's the end of the first period. What a ball game we have. Texas Christian out in front of the Texas Tech. We'll be seconds away from the 4th.
Oh, I think you're right. I'm really surprised at how well Texas Tech has been able to move the ball. But of course, when you're averaging 400 yards, you do move the ball well, and they've had an outstanding first quarter.
Well, they also have a 3rd and 1 situation at the 1-yard line. Scott Tolman remains in at quarterback. He's the guy that they really put in there when you're in that run situation inside that 4-down territory. They like to get the ball to Tolman, and for good reason. When you look at Billy Joe Tolliver's rushing statistics, not very impressive. Minus 77 yards on the season.
Well, and Tolman's more the touch passer.
Yes.
But I'll tell you one thing. From the 1-yard line, this is not a gimme against this TCU defense.
Tolman has 3 rushing touchdowns himself. He is over center as they come to their feet here at Lubbock. Scott Sechrist to tie it up. Not pretty.
Not pretty, but it's worth a point.
It's worth a point, and it comes with 1 second expired in the second quarter.
Now watch the block here by McBride and by Stickles on this play. They just blew out TCU. Toman goes in for its 4th rushing touchdown. They really controlled the line.
A clock stops with 14:59 remaining in the first half. It's TCU and Texas Tech tied at 14. We'll be back after these messages from the whistle of referee Wendell Shelton. It is a good one. Takes one pass, goes over the head of Jared Delaney into the end zone, and the Horned Frogs will begin from their own 20-yard line.
And Phil, the first quarter stats have really got to be interesting, and they're really interesting in the fact that TCU is the rushing team. They have 69 yards passing. Texas Tech is the passing team. They've got 117 yards rushing. Quite a difference. Quite a difference.
Are we sure they've got the right uniforms on down there? Did somebody get the uniforms mixed up?
That is surprising.
Yes, it is.
It is to me, especially watching Darthard and Jeffrey, how well they've run the ball so far this year. And Texas Tech with Tolliver and Toman, how well they've passed the ball.
Davis and Jared Delaney split out, but the give is to the fullback, Scott Bednarski. Tackled by Charles Perry. A gain of 2.
Look at the Horned Frog. What's going on out there?
That's simply a great mascot right there. Second down and 8. Delaney in motion to the top of the screen. The give is to Tony Jeffrey. He is knocked off his feet by the sophomore left tackle Troy Hennington. A gain of 3 for that man.
And Brian Brazel, number 73. Boy, he is a specimen. It's 6'3", 285. Look at him come off and hit the linebacker. Now you got to keep your feet driving. Look how far back he drives them. I'm not quitting, Coach. He's got Rollins about 8-9 yards off the line of scrimmage on that play.
Well, Brazel, he's a senior now. He was part of the first recruiting class for Jim Wacker 4 years ago, and as a freshman he was a defensive lineman. Resco, he's thrown for 1 touchdown, chased out of the pocket, and he is smothered. Oh, does he take a shot?
You know, Rasco really is a good passer as well as a good runner. That time he got outside of it, he almost picks up this first down. You can see he stumbles a couple times. He's looking to pick up on the backside. He can't pick up anybody. All of a sudden he puts the ball down. He knows where the flag is. He just tries to juke and get out there. Just doesn't make it far enough.
Chris Becker, he has 1 punt of 55 yards. Tyrone Thurman at a dead run. He's got it at the 35, and watch out! Watch out!
You get a bad kick. Watch him field this ball on a dead run. Your defense that's coming down covering it doesn't have a chance. Look at him set up 2 or 3 blocks, explodes through one right at the end here. Good night. I'll tell you, he is an awesome force. There's the punter, and it comes back. That's LaVoyle Crump who comes back and gets him. But wow, he told us yesterday, he said, if I get one, I'm going to look up and I'm going to wave at you guys up there.
And he did. A 37-yard punt, a 43-yard return. James Gray trying to get outside the coverage. He's inside the 19-yard line and bounced out of bounds by John Booty, the senior from Carthage High School. Gray has a 72-yard touchdown romp already today. Well, I remember his biggest day earlier this year, David, against Rice, 173 yards. You remember that one?
He certainly did an outstanding job that day. He was Mr. Everything all over the field. You can see there's Spike Dykes. His team really epitomizes him. I said, Coach, how are you going to handle him? He said, Ben, nobody stopped Jeffrey. We're just going to have to get after him, both offense and defense.
Second down and 5. Flags are down. The give is to Isaac Garnett on what they used to call an old crossbuck.
Trying to split that defense in the middle. But we do. They're jumping again. It looks a little bit. Look at there. See, there's the voice inflection. Boy, I'll tell you one thing. If they corrected them at halftime, the first thing they're going to say is, we go on movement. We do not go on sound. Every coach will tell you that, Phil.
Third time that has happened to TCU today. Almost think it's a frog jumping contest.
Well, you can see what it costs them. See, that's a cheap 5 yards. And coaches, that'll drive a coach crazy, seeing that cheap 5 yards where they walk it off for absolutely nothing.
Now it's the fourth time they have been drawn off by that change of cadence by the swift calls of Billy Joe Tolliver. Oh, you're looking right there. Jim Wacker, 2 times. He took the Division II championship at Southwest Texas State. That's Isaac Garnett again, this time inside the 10. Mitchell Benson, the junior left tackle, on the stop. This is the first year that Mitchell Benson has been a regular, a part-timer both his freshman and sophomore year. Played his prep ball at Eastern Hills in Fort Worth.
On Benson, of course, when you're 6'5" and you weigh 300 pounds, they say, oh, hey, you can't move. But he has got great movement in there. They say he's very agile. He's got good slide along the line. Defensive linemen have to play about 5 yards wide, and that's what he's able to do in there.
2nd and 7 from the 10. What a great misdirection pass to Wayne Walker. Close to a first down, and the officials will stop to measure.
And watch what happens when Walker catches the ball. Now, he stopped right back there. Look, they play it well. Right there, they got him, right? No, wrong. Look at that. He picks up an extra 6, 7, almost 10 yards on that play.
First and goal from the 2. The Red Raiders led once in this ball game. They're trying to take a lead again. 14-14, 11:32 remaining in the first half. The ball is fumbled, and it's recovered by the Horned Frogs.
I told you down there that it's not a gimme when you're playing against a great defense like this TCU has. They have got football players in there that react very quickly to the ball. You talked about them smiling ear to ear. You can see how quickly they get to the ball carrier. Look at 93 coming in there. That's Llewellyn. He just really drives the ball out. There's the ball laying flat down there, and nobody comes up with it except the purple shirts. That happened to Texas Tech last week against Texas. They got down to the 3-yard line and fumbled, and it was a big turning point in the game.
21st time this year that the Red Raiders have put the ball on the carpet. They've lost 17 of the 21 fumbles. What a pop David Rasco takes from Donald Harris.
And Phil, if you're a Red Raider fan, what you want them to do right now is hold them 3 downs inside there, get the ball back, because your offense has got great momentum. If you're a TCU fan out there watching, what you're saying is drive and pick up at least 1 or 2 first downs so we get the ball out. But remember, TCU's got that great punter, Becker, who's got the outstanding average, almost 45 yards a kick. So they can move the ball at will, and he can get them out of a lot of trouble.
2nd down and 6 from the 6-yard line. Rasco rolls left, pitches at the last possible moment. Tony Darthard has the football. He'll lose a yard or 2 as that ball was bouncing end over end, rolls out of bounds. TCU retains possession.
Now you'll watch this on this play. You'll watch Rasco come down the line. Now this time Texas Tech plays the pitch very well. See right there, you see the corner doesn't get knocked off. He turns and runs the line. Now Rasco has to pitch the ball, and you'll see the 2 dark shirts come in there. There's the slip. Now he was down before the fumble. It's a good call by the referee. He was down before the ball hit the ground.
3rd down and 7. Texas Christian converting on 45% of their 3rd down chances. Rasco right up the gut, close to the first down. Wow, what a surprise.
That's a goose play. That's what they call it, a goose play. Well, anytime the quarterback comes out and he sees that there's no one covering the center, he just gives the center a goose. He knows that it's going right up the middle. You can see it's a quarterback sneak. Boy, now watch it from the end zone. See nobody on the center. He just gives a goose block. And the two guards, now if we can take a look at that again, the two guards block out. Hey, that is quite a play. They block out trying to influence the defensive tackles out.
That is Tony Jeffrey, and he is stood up by Michael Johnson.
Now let me show you. Let's look at that play again. Now watch the two guards. Watch what they're going to do. They're just going to block out. They influence the two defensive tackles out. Then the center is just dead one-on-one with the linebacker. Rasco reads the block and picks up an outstanding call. Great call from the sideline. Good call for the center to recognize it, and the quarterback. Great, just good coordination.
2nd down and 8 now. The ball on the 15-yard line. 9:08 to play in the first half. Rasco coming near side. Fakes the pitch, holds on. Oh, does he pay the price? Gary Warren, the senior outside linebacker, really popped David Rasco.
And if you're on the sideline and you're Jim Wacker, you got your heart in your throat a little bit because, you know, they don't have a lot backing up Rasco. They got Ron Giles, who is their backup quarterback, but he really hasn't played a whole lot. He's only passed the ball 9 times. He's run a few, but he really hasn't played very long, so you don't want to see Rasco get hurt.
It's 3rd and 7. Rasco is sacked by Ricky Boysaw.
Bill, defensive coaches will tell you don't stay on the ground. At that time, Borsall got knocked down to the ground, got right back up, popped up and made that big play. And now it's up to Mr. Becker to get TCU out of trouble.
And Tyrone Thurman, he has one big punt return today. Good punt. Thurman should have another return. Ball takes a bounce. Tyrone gets the big bounce. He's got it at the 44. Across the 47 and down at the 48-yard line. The tackle made by Romeo Smith. That stops the clock with 7:46 remaining in the first half. A 45-yard punt, 14 apiece. The Red Raiders with the football at their own 48-yard line. Billy Joe Tolliver back over center for Texas Tech. In motion, it's Walker. Play action. Tolliver, with all the time in the world, comes to the near side. It is caught by the tight end, Bill Young. At South Bend, Indiana, Notre Dame trailing Boston College at halftime.
Well, that's a surprise. And there's another one, of course, Georgia and Florida. Indiana, of course, losing now to Illinois. There's some surprises this week.
Penn State trailing Maryland 6-0. Michigan State laying it on the Boilermakers of Purdue at East Lansing 21-zip. Coming near side. That is James Gray. Boy, Gray, Dave, outstanding work ethics. I mean, he practices every day like he's preparing for the Super Bowl.
He really does. They say he's a real workhorse. In talking with their team, I asked Spike Dykes about him. I said, what do you think about Gray? And he just said, oh, you couldn't find a greater kid. He is just a personification of what you want in a football player. A lot of football players are good game day players, but don't practice well. He's one of those ones that practices all the time just as well as he plays.
2nd and 6 from the 34. Gray inside the 15. And I'll tell you what, sitting right here above Jones Stadium, I had no idea where that football was. What a fake by Billy Joe Tolliver.
It really was. He gives the ball real quick. Now watch, he continues on his fake. You're going to see it from field action now. He just continues, and Gray just bursts up the middle. Look, he sets up a couple blocks there, explodes, and you can hear everybody yelling, go, go, and he just rambles down inside the 15-yard line. What a day he's having so far.
It's a first down at the 13-yard line.
And by the way, he's only a sophomore, Phil.
He's going to be around a while. That's the fullback, Isaac Garnett.
Well, in talking to both these coaches, they said the battle up front is going to determine this game. And neither team has really come out and completely dominated, but both offenses have been able to control the other one's defense. It's surprising, a little more surprising with TCU because they've got Spradlin and Simeon in there, Benson, Trammell. I mean, they've got a solid core in there.
Clock is stopped. 5:58 to play as the Red Raiders want to talk it over, and for good reason. They've got it 2nd and 6 at the Horned Frogs 9-yard line. What a ball game. Texas Christian and the Red Raiders are tied at 14 under sunny skies in West Texas. Billy Joe Tolliver over center. It is 2nd and 6 from the 9. Pitch near side. James Gray is across the 9-yard line. Gains maybe 1. Floyd Terrell popped him. Philanda Newton came on to put the finishing touches.
And Phil, our storyline has gone back and forth there. Rasco, 69 yards passing, a touchdown. Texas Tech, 155 yards rushing. Gray's got over 120 of that. He's averaging close to 13 yards per carry in this first half. That is unbelievable. Texas Tech is averaging 9.6 yards per rush.
Well, a week ago in Austin, Texas Tech found their ground game totally neutralized by the Longhorns. We've got a timeout called again by the Red Raiders. And while Billy Joe Tolliver talks things over with Spike Dykes and company, we'll take a break. 5:18 remaining in the first half. We're tied at 14. I was telling Dave, when you upset a team's balance, it simplifies things for your opponents. That was certainly the case last week when Texas totally neutralized Texas Tech's running game. Boy, they've got it on track today, Dave.
Well, they really do. One of the big differences, of course, the weather conditions. This day is an outstanding day. I mean, it's beautiful. Temperature in the 60s, very little wind. Texas Tech had to fight that wind last week, and that was a killer.
3rd and 6 from the 9. In motion, it is Walker. Again, the Horned Frogs jump. Tolliver has time. He'll go down behind the line of scrimmage. Tackle made by Dave Spradlin. But again, I think it's going to be offsides against Texas Christian.
I cannot believe that. If that is true, that is going to be 5 times. And Mr. Jim Wacker is going to be just livid at halftime. They may have him in the locker room there saying, line up and watch this. This is a football. We're going to move it. You go when we move the football. Because Tolliver has been unbelievable drawing them off sides. But now what happens, Phil, is when you yell at your defensive linemen, they have a great tendency now, hey, I don't want the coach yelling at me. I'm going to just sit back there, and then they don't come off the ball. So there's a two-sided part of this.
Tolliver coming to the near side. He wants to talk things over.
And he's wasting a lot of time right now.
And now they have just started the 25-second clock.
Well, when they got down here before, they fumbled, and it was a crucial play. They don't want to do that again.
3rd down and 1. The give is to Garnett, the fullback. He is inside the 5-yard line. Red Raiders say he got the first down. And from where the spot is, it will be very, very close. Just shy of the 3.
I saw Eddie Anderson out there going, oh, yeah, he's got it. He's got it. Everybody on the offense saying, oh, he's got it. And everybody on the defense saying, no, he's a yard short. But the chains never lie. You can yank those things as hard as you want, but they always measure the 10 yards.
Now they'll stretch it out, and it is a first down for the Red Raiders.
Well, you can see power football right in the middle there. There's the double team, the split in the middle. Now, actually, the running back gets a little quick into the hold. He doesn't wait for the block to really get there. It was a cross block, and Spike Dykes has got to be excited, but he doesn't want to have that famous fumble down here like they had last time and like they had last week.
Scott Tolman has come in at quarterback for the Raiders. That's Gray. Short of the goal line to the 1.
I'll tell you one thing impressing about Gray to me. It's like that play, he put down his head. There was no hole there. He took that ball on a dead run, and he just ran in there. That's a sign of a good running back. Sometimes when there's not a hole, you just got to run up the back of your offensive lineman, but you just explode into that hole.
3:55 remaining in the first half. It is 2nd and goal from the 1. Gray, touchdown. Scott Seacrest. Ball is down, and he is perfect. So the clock is stopped with 3:49 remaining in the first half, and Tech again, Dave, breaks out on top by a touchdown.
Well, you can see from this angle right here, it's breaking the plane. It's not where you come down. Watch the ball. The ball breaks the plane there, and he's in. See, it breaks the white line. Now, when they come back, they say, no, he was down, but you can see the referee had a great view of that call.
The last time Texas Christian gave up 3 touchdowns was way back in the second game of the season. They lost that game to Air Force. Tech, surprise, surprise, moving the ball on the ground, moving it through the air against the Horned Frogs of Texas Christian.
Well, they blew the ball off there. Everybody started forward, and the ball just kind of blew off the tee. But, boy, to have 38 points scored, I think that's indicative of an offensive showing. We knew we would have that. We knew that both these teams could move the football. They've proved that. I think the surprising thing is that Texas Tech has been able to run against this TCU defense, because that's been their strong point.
Big kick into a prevailing wind. And the Frogs will begin from their 20. Now, Dave, you touched on it at the outset of the telecast when you said that for both the Horned Frogs and the Red Raiders, tremendous futures for both of these football teams. And I'll tell you what, when you look at the Horned Frogs, they've got 2 redshirt freshman defensive tackles, both of whom stand 6'6" and go somewhere around 285.
Yeah, and they're just little 18-year-old kids.
It looks like Rob Adams, the left guard, jumped. The gentle giant from Crowley High School. Oh, when it comes to penalties, the wheels have fallen off for Texas Christian.
They really have. You know, the surprising thing has been Tony Jeffrey. Now, look at all the games that he's showcased against every team in this conference. And look at that. He has not had a great day. He was injured last year, only had 51 yards the year before, 80 the year before on 22 carries. And you can see what he's doing today. He has not had a showcase day, but that's yet.
And there he is right there. He ran headlong into the middle linebacker, Tony Durden, and had Durden not held on, he might have bounced outside for a long gainer.
If Durden doesn't hold on to the tail end of that, that's another 80-yarder in Mr. Jeffrey's corner, because that was the one where he almost broke it loose.
There's the situation. Well, you were discussing Tony Jeffrey's dealings against Texas Tech. He's averaging in his 2+ games just a little over 3 yards a carry. That's Tony Darthard. And Donald Harris, the freshman free safety, slides in to cover the run beautifully.
And Darthard, you're going to see now, they play the pitch on this, and they give it to Darthard, and he busts up the middle with it. He's got good speed. He's got a 6.9 yard per carry average. That's indicative of great offensive line play. Now this TCU team seems to be settling a little bit more back into what they do best, and that's run and control the football.
The give is to Jeffrey, and there is not much there.
Jeffrey slipped on that play, Phil, to give him fair credit on that one. He slipped on that play as he was making a cut. Of course, we're on AstroTurf, but it's completely dry with bright sun. Weather is, again, no factor in this football game. The only thing that I think is a little bit of a factor is that sun that is right in the eyes of TCU. When they are kicking or receiving or trying to look back into that sun, it's kind of tough.
Second down and 10 from the 30-yard line. That is Scott Bednarski, the junior fullback out of Austin. And it is Desmond Royal who makes the tackle. I was thinking at breakfast today, Dave, that Desmond Royal and James Mosley, the defensive tackle and end on the right side of Texas Tech's defense, would have to have a good game and would not only have to hold up Rob Adams and Jeff Hopkins, but would have to penetrate, and they're getting that penetration.
They really are. They're big play players. They make big plays, tackles behind the line of scrimmage, and they're doing a very good job today of holding up on that side.
A gain of a couple for Tony Darthard. Artis Jackson and Michael Johnson on the stop.
It may be decision time. I can't imagine that they wouldn't punt in this situation on 3rd down, 4th down and about 2. They almost have to give the ball back.
4th time in this ball game that Chris Becker has been called upon to boot it away, and another opportunity for Tyrone Thurman. He's at his own 15-yard line.
And they may ask Mr. Becker to punt it high and a little bit shorter, but get it up there. Let that coverage team get down.
Good snap. Here comes Texas Tech. They almost blocked it. A high punt. Thurman has got it. Fair catch at the 21-14 lead over the Frogs of TCU.
And now what do you do if you're Spike Dykes? Do you go for it? I think I would.
If you're Spike Dykes, you go for it.
I think I'd almost go for it. Hey, they're playing way above their heads. They're playing solid football. I'd almost let them go for it. See if they could get another, at least a field goal try.
3 wide receivers for Tech. There's the draw. Gray trying to get around, will not be able to do it. Tremendous pursuit by the strong side linebacker. That's Floyd Terrell.
Well, you can see the clock's ticking down under a minute. Now this is where Tolliver's got that great arm. He can go upstairs to Wayne Walker or pick up Eddie Anderson streaming down the sideline. He's got the arm to throw 50, 60 yards on the run.
Texas Christian came into this ball game 35.5 sacks. They have not gotten close to Tolliver today. Inside 30 seconds. The give is to Isaac Garnett. And that very well may be the last play of the first half.
And that is surprising. Now they call timeout. I would almost call timeout. I'd say, hey, let's throw it up. But the surprising thing is that TCU called timeout. Now that may give Tolliver a chance to come over here and say, what do you think, coach? Let's throw it up. You want to try one? He's got the rocket arm. Now that's a little bit surprising. Of course, now Jim Wacker and his staff may be saying that very same thing. They may be saying, hey, listen, we know that they can throw it up. We know Tolliver's got that long arm. Don't get beaten. Drop deep on this zone coverage. Get a 3-deep zone and let the center fielder, who's Philonda Newton, let him sit back there and play the eyes of the quarterback.
Which he has done extremely well this year. He has an interception today. He came into the ball game tied with Boyd Cowan for the interception lead in the conference. Both had 6. Newton broke that tie today as he picked Tolliver off late in the first period.
And that's the one that Jim Wacker was talking with on the sideline, Philonda Newton. He's just walked into the huddle just now. He's the leader back there. He's the man that intercepts him, only a junior. But he's got great explosiveness to the ball. When he sees that ball, he covers ground very quickly to get to it.
Going to the top of your screen, it is Eddie Anderson. Wayne Walker is in the slot. The pitch comes to the short side. James Gray, he's across the 40-yard line and tackled there. Inside 10 seconds, 9, 8. It'll be a first down for Texas Tech. As the clock stops to move the chains, the Red Raiders have now called a timeout, which you've got to believe now that Billy Joe is going to get the ball down the field.
Well, what they're trying to do is, of course, you can set up a field goal try with Sechrist. He's got a good leg. He's made one over 50 yards. I think as long as is probably around 52, I think it is. So he's got a leg where he can kick it. If they can complete a pass, get the clock stopped, and it would have to be somewhere, probably about the 35-yard line to get a kick that far. But if he can get it down inside that, that's only about a 10, 15-yard throw and stop the clock. They got a shot at it. They've got a good wind behind their back, too.
Now, Dave, this is also the exact situation where if you have that trick or that gimmick play in your repertoire, this is where you use it.
Oh, yeah, there's a whole bunch of things. You think of flea flickers,
easy
ends
for you
around.
to say.
That's easy for me to say, flea flicker. But, no. I just can't spell it. Flea, F-L-E-E.
That's right.
Now, I know it's F-L-E-A. Don't worry.
Now, you went to Penn State.
Don't say that. Well, let's see what Mr. Tolliver is going to do in this situation.
Raiders show and pass. 9 seconds remaining in the first half. Here comes the rush. Swing it out to Gray, and he'll go down at the 43-yard line. And that's it. The final play of the first half. Texas Tech delighting a crowd of some 30,000 here at Jones Stadium. They're out in front of the favored Horned Frogs of TCU by a touchdown. We'll be back after these messages from your local station. A month ago, Texas Tech and the Aggies of Texas A&M locked horns here at Jones Stadium. And when they begin quickly, as they did in that ball game, the punt return by Tyrone Thurman, they're successful. And we're seeing it again today, Dave.
Well, we certainly are. They got off to a good start. Of course, I think the first run by James Gray on that opening kickoff, that opening series, I think this really set the tempo when Gray slipped at the start, exploded through the hole, got a great block there by McBride from the backside, and he exploded down the sideline. That really has set the tempo of the game.
Now, Dave, if you're Spike Dykes, what are you telling your Red Raiders right now?
Well, I think you're telling them that, hey, listen, keep doing the things we're doing right. A lot of things are going right now. We're controlling the line of scrimmage. We're having good play. I think they're really getting after him. If you're Jim Wacker on the other side, you're saying, hey, we got to stay on sides. And this is not the same TCU team that has come in here and lost for a lot of times. This is a different TCU team. This is a TCU that's got a lot of class, a lot of ability, and I think they'll be back in this game the second half.
Well, the Red Raiders, they are almost unbeatable when they play here in the friendly confines. 5-1 here at Jones Stadium. Halftime here in Lubbock, it's 21-14 Texas Tech. Legends of the Southwest Conference is presented by the Jefferson Pilot Companies. Today, let's visit with the winningest coach in Southwest Conference history, Darrell Royal.
My only plan was to do the best job I could every day, and for our staff to work hard every day and take it one day at a time and kind of scratch where it itches. You don't know what needs doing. Work today uncovers something that needs to be done tomorrow.
That simple approach to coaching carried Darrell Royal through 20 years at the University of Texas. During that time, he established a dynasty in Austin, putting himself in the elite class of college coaches in America. He also created a new wave in offensive football in 1968 with an attack called the wishbone.
It was very successful for us. We tied our opening ball game and lost our second ball game and then won 30 in a row with the wishbone. So, yes, the wishbone was great for the University of Texas, and it's still a good formation today. Oklahoma seems to be doing all right with it.
During that amazing stretch of 30 straight wins came a showdown on national TV in December of 1969 with Arkansas. A 15-14 come-from-behind Longhorn victory secured the national championship for Texas. But despite the legend of that game, Royal says it wasn't the best game he remembers one of his teams playing.
We were lucky to win in Fayetteville in '69. They had no chance of defeating us the next year we played in Austin. So we had some, sometimes we were lucky and guessed the right game plan, and I felt like we did a good job of coaching. There are other times I felt like we weren't all that well prepared and didn't do a good job in our game preparation. '69 Arkansas game was one of those.
He was an easy guy to play for. He's very straightforward. The more you're around him, there's no play to him. He's very serious if he's talking about something. If we're going to leave at a certain time, we're going to do things. He was very organized. I think that after I got to know him, even when he was sending in plays, I knew what he was sending in. So he's a good guy to play for, really.
Catch it, Wind. It's working on it a little.
These days, Royal is easy to find. Just catch up to him on good friend Willie Nelson's golf course outside Austin. Although he hasn't been involved in coaching for nearly 10 years, he's still a celebrity in this neck of the woods and is content to keep things just the way they are.
I have been thoroughly pleased that I quit coaching at the time I did. I enjoyed it the last day that I coached, and I look back on it as a fond memory. I'm glad I didn't stay around until I had some reason to be bitter about it. But I've never had the temptation to maybe go try it again or wish that I had stayed with it.
Nice shot, Coach.
How about a little music, Larry?
All around about you. I'll be dancing with sugar. Keep that old sugar.
5 yards at crucial times when he needs it.
One statistic that you do not see there, third down conversions. The Red Raiders have converted 3 of 4 third down opportunities. Texas Christian only 3 of 7. And that's today's halftime stats, brought to you. The Red Raiders have run at will. They have executed their vertical game to perfection, and they lead by a touchdown. But I'll tell you what, if you know Jimmy Wacker, you know where he's been, you know a little bit about his past, a couple of Division II national championships, a couple of NAIA championships at Texas Lutheran, his 5th year at Texas Christian. You know this is a quality coach, an outstanding program, and Horned Frogs are only down by a touchdown. You don't count these guys out.
Well, I saw one of their coaches in the hallway at halftime. I said, Coach, what's going on? He said, they're kicking out our end, but I think we're going to make some adjustments, and we'll be just fine in the second half. Now, of course, coaches are supposed to say that. But TCU has an awful lot of firepower. As you said, they're only down 1 touchdown. They're right in this game. They've got to kick off, but they've got that good wind at their back.
Lee Newman having problems with that ball staying on the kicking tee. A good little assistance. Back deep for the Red Raiders, Blackshear, McGowan, and McAfee. Look how short Newman's approach on kickoff is. Coming to the near side. That is Rodney Blackshear, the freshman wide receiver. Turns it up at the 30-yard line, tries to take it outside, and is bounced out of bounds at the 38. LaVoyle Crump, the freshman redshirt out of Mount Pleasant.
Well, Phil, I think the one thing that has to be important today is the first drives, the drives of the Red Raiders. Look where they've started. They started deep in their own territory, and look what they've done. They had that big run on the first one. Then they had an interception. They came back with another touchdown, then a fumble, then another touchdown just before half, and they have driven the ball well today. They have driven from their own territory about 5 out of the 6 drives.
Billy Joe Tolliver will begin at quarterback. James Gray. And that is the play that went for 72 yards in the opening touchdown. 3rd time today the Raiders have run that play. Philanda Newton on the tackle, but not before Gray churns out 5.
That again is that misdirection play, which you try to get the linebackers in the secondary to react one way, and it comes back against them.
Now the Horned Frogs defense, you look at what they have done in the last 3 weeks, and they have allowed less than 40 yards rushing. But look at what the Red Raiders have done to the Horned Frogs today. 30 minutes of play, 177 yards on the ground for Texas Tech. That's great. Well, the one thing Tolliver does so very, very well, he carries that fake longer than anybody I've seen this year.
Well, I remember a statement by, we talked about the defense at TCU. I remember a statement by Rick Johnson. He was disappointed with his defense. He said, listen, if we don't get it together, we're going back home, and we're going to practice on Monday in pads, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And if there's anybody left, we're going to go out on Friday. And I'm sure he had another talk like that at halftime. In their defense, you can already see there's a lot more intensity in the front 7, which is the 4 down linemen and the 3 linebackers. They should play with a lot more fever in the second half.
3rd and 7. Crossing pattern. Caught! That ball is caught!
Ho, ho, ho. That looked as if he had a baseball glove on. Watch this catch. It's going to be coming left to right in your screen. One hand. It looks like he's got a baseball glove. There's the ball. Bounces in. Great concentration. It might have looked like it touched the ground. Now,
it did. It hit the ground. Nobody saw it. It's a 1st down for the Raiders.
I'll tell you right now, that ball bounced in the ground there. Let's look at it again. There's the touch. There's on the ground. Oh, boy. Oops, oops, oops.
1st down at the 44. There's a little out pattern, and that one was not caught by Tyrone Thurman. Now, correction, it is not Thurman. It is Anthony Manyweather. Now, there's a problem with number 87 in the black jersey. And the problem being there are 2 number 87s in uniform wearing black jerseys today.
87A and 87B. Well, when you have as many kids as these colleges have, you do run out of a lot of football players. Of course, when you're home, you get to dress your full squad. When you travel, you dress 55.
Quick snap. Tolliver puts it up. It's intended for Walker.
And Phil, you can see that there's the cameraman that went down. And they not only went down, but Tolliver went down. He took a shot when he lets this ball up. He knows the pressure's coming backside, throws it up. You can see him get wiped out. And watch Walker spins all the way around, makes a great play on the play. He loses his balance a little bit, and right in there is when he wipes out the cameraman on the tail end of that play.
A gain of 34. It's first and goal from the 9. And that is James Gray. He coughed up the football, but I believe he was down.
Well, you can hear them yelling down there. They're arguing he wasn't down, and that's a tough call. But I believe he was down on that play. Let's maybe see if we can see it on the tail end of it. You'll see Gray come in. He's going to come from left to right on your screen, and right at the tail end here, let's see when he's down. There's the hit. There's the knee down right now. There's the ball coming out. You can see him pounce on the ball. His knee was definitely down on that play. Good call.
2nd and 10. Tolman on a busted play throws it out of bounds rather than taking the sack. And that's what a senior quarterback can do for you.
Yes, he knew he was in trouble. He just wanted to throw it out, not get it intercepted, and he threw it downfield. On a play like that, the referee has the discretion to call whether you're just grounding it. And he will if you just throw it out of bounds. But Tolman threw it down about 10, 12 yards downfield. So they did not call grounding on that play, even though that's what his intention was, to get rid of the ball, save the sack.
Tolman comes back out of the ball game. Billy Joe Tolliver is in. They're flooding the zone. Tolliver looking left, throws it up, and it's thrown out of bounds. Intended for Wayne Walker. The Frogs covering very well.
Well, they did. They had him completely stymied back there. They were not fooled. They tried to. You'll see from this coverage picture, there's the coverage. We're going man-to-man on this situation. You can see him flooding out here. See there, no one is going. Now there they switch back, went the zone. You can see the good coverage. Nobody was fooled on that play. John Booty was number 11. He's the one that was covering the out pattern. It looked like it was man-to-man. Had me fooled.
Scott Sechrist trying to give the Red Raiders a 10-point margin, and he has got it from 27 yards away. Texas Tech draws first blood here in the second half. Clock stops, 11:54 to play. In the third quarter, it's Tech out in front of the Frogs, 24-14. And you want to talk leaders? They are in the black uniforms. Texas Tech out in front of TCU, 24-14. Sechrist lets it go. It is coming down to Reggie Davis at the 9-yard line. He's across the 25, out near the 26. And that's where the Horned Frogs will put it in play.
Well, it's been surprising today. We know we had one of the big career rushers. As we look at the career rushing yardage, the first two will never change. I can't imagine those two changing. The third one, fourth one, fifth one, sixth one are all NFL players. And look at number 8 and creeping up quickly, and that's Tony Jeffrey with 3,534 yards.
And that is including his yardage thus far on the day. Jeffrey has the football, and Artis Jackson has Jeffrey.
Well, he's had a tough day in here. He's never really found himself free and clear where he can use that speed. He's pounding in the middle. You can see right there when he has to change his direction right there, there's just nowhere to go. They're standing up the linemen, and you can see that's stopped.
The last man that could stop him did so.
And what they tried to do that time, TCU tried to blitz. They had 9 men up on the line of scrimmage. Watch Llewellyn coming there. Now he's going to go up. He picks up the center. He gets caught too long there. You've got to get outside. Now he's running from the backside. If he doesn't get him, he's down the sideline for another long run. But TCU has changed their defensive philosophy. They're doing a little bit more blitzing, and that's something that they haven't done. It was shown by Llewellyn going through there. That time they had 9 men on the line of scrimmage.
A 15-yard gain. It is first down. Isaac Garnett, not much, maybe 2.
Wow, and he ran into a hit by Kent Trammell that time on the line of scrimmage. It was just one of those ones where Trammell couldn't get his arms around him, but it was quite a collision on the line of scrimmage.
Until this year, Jim Wacker at Texas Christian had what they really amounted to a moldable defense, a read and react type of defense, Dave, and you've played that type of defense. This year they've gone away from that, haven't they?
Yes, they've gone to a 4-3, and they're really pleased with it. They really have a lot of confidence in Rick Johnson, their defensive coordinator. He's brand new.
James McGowan, first time we have seen him in the ball game other than as a kickoff return specialist. Tommy Sharp, the strong safety, brings him down.
And this play is going to be, it's going to go back for, well, they'll probably take the play because the wide receiver, when he came in motion, did an illegal motion. He misjudged the snap count and turned up about a half a step early. So it's going to be motion. Now they make the decision, of course, if they want to take the play. And I think they'd be very happy to take the play. You notice how nobody wants to stand around Jim Wacker? You don't want to stand around an emotional man when he's upset, and he's obviously upset. The man on the left there is signaling in the defense. He's telling them what to do. And that's Rick Johnson, by the way. I wanted to tell you that. That's the man who's responsible for this defense.
5:45 to play in the third period. Texas Tech took a lead early in the ball game on a 72-yard romp by James Gray. Back came Texas Christian to tie the ball game, and then the Horned Frogs took a lead. But since then, the Red Raiders have come storming back and lead by 10, 24-14. That's Thurman in motion. Coming to the near side. It is Walker. And what a pass. He throws it over the outstretched hands of Tommy Sharp. We've got a flag down for roughing the passer.
Good call. That's what they called. When they came around the backside, Spradlin has been on top of Billy Joe Tolliver all day, and that time he got there just a shade late. And it's going to tack on what is already an outstanding pass. It's going to tack on more yardage for that penalty. But as a defensive lineman, you get so close and you get so frustrated. They have hit him the instant after he's thrown the ball at least 5 or 6 times. They have not been able to get to him. That time Spradlin said, I'm just going to hit him again. And he was about 1 step too far away when he made that decision to hit him.
It's a big one. The pass went for 18 yards. You tack on the penalty another 10, and it's a 28-yard pickup to the Horned Frog 11-yard line. Now Jim Wacker simply not believing the play of his defense today. It's really been the unit that has propelled the Horned Frogs to the season they have had.
And it's such a solid unit to really be run against like they have been today. It's just a solid unit. That's the way they play on a play like that. They usually have 8 or 9 men in on a tackle. They're just getting picked apart today. And Tolliver there in your picture, he's been the one who's picked them apart. Now what he did there, run over the sideline. What do you want me to run, coach? He's got time in between plays. He's a real gutsy quarterback. He comes in and takes charge, takes control.
You know, 12 years ago when Jim Wacker was at Texas Lutheran, his defensive line, he told us, averaged 192 pounds. Oh, how the game has changed. Average now about 260. That's Gray. Not much. Inside the 10, down near the 9. Charles Odiorn, the sophomore left tackle, clearing the way, but David Spradlin fought off the block to bring him down.
Look at him. He's calling upon his defense. Come on, D. That's D for defense. If they can hold him in this situation, they can hold him to a field goal, there'll be 2 touchdowns. They can win. But if they score a touchdown here, it's going to put a lot more pressure on TCU.
Now the Raiders want to call a timeout and talk it over. The ball nosing the 8-yard line with 4:11 to play in the third period. A near capacity crowd here at Jones Stadium. Temperature in the 70s. A beautiful day for football. And what a performance by the home. Now we came into this game singing the praises of number 27 in white, Tony Jeffrey. But thus far, James Gray has stolen the headlines. 20 carries, 157 yards. What's that average out to, Dave, a carry?
Almost 8 yards, 7.8 yards per carry.
Tolliver swings it out, intended for Gray.
I see what he's saying there. No penalty. He doesn't want them to be drawn off sides. But I'll tell you now, remember in the first half, I told you when they jumped off like that their defensive linemen will be sitting back. And I think they are sitting back. They're not getting off like they did in the beginning of the game because they're so cognizant of jumping off sides. But they did what they had to do. They held them to a field goal. And if this field goal's good, they'll only be down 13 points.
High snap. Tolman gets it down, and Sechrist puts it through from 26 yards away. The Red Raiders scoring machine keeps right on it churning. And the going band from Raiderland loves it. And so does this crowd here at Jones Stadium. We'll be back in a moment.
Rushing, and they've had him down there. They had those buckets down there with ice soaking the horse's hooves. He's been running so many times around this field. That's a surprise. Look at him all lathered up there. Just he's able to walk a lap now.
And the players don't know where that bucket's been. They keep filling that bucket full of Gatorade. At the 12-yard line, out across the 25, the 27, Reggie Davis is swarmed under. Charles Rowe, the freshman redshirt, on the tackle. Spike Dykes.
What a man. He is quite a legend in this area. Just a really fun person to be around. He's fun to talk with, and he's very, very honest in his approach. I think that really has a positive influence, as is Jim Wacker. Spike Dykes told us that, hey, we can't match up man for man. I don't know how we're going to stop Jeffrey, but he's found a way today.
That is Tony Jeffrey, and there is not much there. 3:49 remaining in the third period. Brasco to put it up, trying to exercise a vertical game, and he overthrows Jared Delaney. Eric Everett, the left corner, running step for step with the flanker.
Well, if I was in this situation, I think I'd have to call upon Rasco to pass a little bit more also. I'm surprised that they're not trying to use Jeffrey a little bit wider. They've been banging him up in the middle every time, and he's got that strength to bang in the middle. We talked about that, but I'd let him go wide a little bit more than what he has gone.
Clock stop, 3:21 remaining in the third period. 27-14. Red Raiders over the Horned Frogs. Brasco with time. Swings it out near side. That's Jeffrey. The man he eluded was Michael Johnson, but he ran right into Lemuel Stinson.
And this play is indicative of Tony Jeffrey's day. The ball had to be thrown high. This is a sneak out on the screen, but the ball had to be thrown high. It takes too much time. Now look at there. There's one man on Jeffrey. There's another one coming in. They've got people just zeroed in on him today.
Sixth punt of the afternoon for Becker. And it is a beauty. Tyrone Thurman looking up into a high sky here in West Texas. Can he get around the corner? Not this time. Well, he is killed. Mooney, first guy to get to the little man. He's 5'3", weighs 135 pounds.
Boy, I'll tell you, the storyline today has changed back and forth. Look at that. TCU, the great running game, fourth in the nation coming into this game, averaging 326 yards, and they've been held to 69. Texas Tech, we thought they'd have to rely on the passing game. Gosh, it's been quite a difference of games today, and Jim Wacker knows that his team right now has got to soon get out of the doldrums. They've got to have something happen. If you're a Texas Tech fan, you're saying, don't fumble, don't throw an interception, just keep on playing straight.
There's the draw. It goes to James McGowan. He comes up across the 22, just about back to the line of scrimmage. Here's an interesting notation. Texas Tech now has in their entire second-string offensive line Hurst, Pickett, Wright, Richburg, and Tommy Webb.
Well, that's how you get them experience. It's nice because you can take the other ones over here and you can rest them on the sideline a little bit. But I know right now they've got their number one man in their hand and the ball off. They do not want to have a quarterback fumble. And there they are resting on the sideline. You can see them over there. They're just kind of relaxing a little bit, getting up, watching the action, sitting back down.
There's the play action. Tolliver with the deep drop, swings it out. And out of the hands of Irvin Ferris. And that's a guy who, throughout the course of this year, has had sure hands coming out of the backfield. Had 14 receptions for 189 yards and a couple of touchdowns passing this year. Ferris out of last week's game, Dave, in Austin with that pinched nerve. He has not seen the ball much today.
Well, that's true, because James Gray has taken so much attention in the game. Gray has carried the ball a number of times. I think he's got 20 carries now. As you said, 157 yards. That's the moldable part of his defense.
The ball to 24, 3rd and 8. Bouvier Dale in motion. The kid comes to the near side. It is McGowan. And he is stood up and dropped. Philanda Newton, the free safety. He's 6'2", 199 pounds with help from Floyd Terrell. And it'll be a 4th down, 4th and 8. First time today that we have seen Jamie Simmons.
First punt for Texas Tech. First punt today.
Philanda Newton is back to receive it. Short punt. It's taken a Red Raider roll. Down to the 30-yard line. It will be down there. And that's where the Horned Frogs will take the football. A 42-yard punt by Jamie Simmons out of Aldine, Texas, suburb of Houston.
Well, there's what we have coming up for you. Fans out there, we've got TCU next week at Texas. Then we've got A&M at TCU.
Oh, man.
And finish up with Houston at Rice. And, boy, you know that Houston team has got an offense. They have to outscore people to win. So we've got probably the deciding games in the Southwest Conference. Who's going to go to the Cotton Bowl?
1:09 to play, 3rd period. Play action. Resco putting it up. Intended for Reggie Davis. And Donald Harris was in the vicinity but could not pick it off. The goings on in South Bend, Notre Dame, in a dogfight all day long. But Lou Holtz and company have done it, knocking off Boston College by a touchdown.
And there's Indiana taking control now of that Illinois game in the 4th quarter, 24-16.
And the Nittany Lions in the 3rd period at College Park, leading Maryland 14-6.
And there's a real surprise. The surprise is that Navy is still in that football game in the 3rd quarter.
David Rasco looking. Boy, just a poorly thrown pass intended for Tony Jeffrey. And the reason it was poorly thrown is that Rasco was running for his life.
Well, he really has. He's been backing up as we pick up on the Apple Roundup. Florida State not very far above Auburn. That should be a good football game. It's in the 1st quarter.
And in the 2nd period at Norman, the Cowboys only a touchdown behind the Sooners. 59 seconds to play. 3rd quarter action. We're at Jones Stadium in Lubbock, where the Red Raiders are surprising the Horned Frogs 27-14. Vesco flushed out. Now lets it go. It is caught. Jared Delaney, realizing his quarterback was in trouble, broke his pattern and just looked for some open space. But there is a flag down way back at the 21-yard line, perhaps roughing the passer, Dave?
No, I think it's going to be a hold. It was on the back side of the play. When I watched the referee throw the flag, he threw it on the back side of the play after Rasco had stepped up. And it looks like it may go back against TCU. I think it was holding.
Tony Durden certainly thinks so. James Mosley may have been the player held.
Well, I think it might have been Artis Jackson. I was watching him on the play, and he was back in that general area. Maybe we can see it from the end zone as we listen to the call. There's the holding call. Let's look at it. Look on the left side. Well, look in the middle here. Let's see what we got. There's Artis Jackson, 69. 56 is coming in there. That may be the hold right there. You see the arm hooked across the chest? I believe that's what he calls. And of course, it negates a 1st down for TCU. Gives them 3rd down about a quarter of a mile.
3rd and 20. Penalties have taken TCU out of a lot of opportunities. Let's go. Intended for Jeffrey, but there were 3 black jerseys around the football.
And you see Jeffrey put his arm out there as they high-five on Texas Tech. Jeffrey was thinking that he got interfered with as the ball was coming to him. Watch it. He's going to be coming from your right to left. There he is. Now see if he gets hit before the ball. Does he get hit? Wow, that's a pretty close call. As soon as he got up, you can see right there. That's pass interference. But he didn't get the call.
Becker lets it go. It is a good one. Tyrone Derman should have a return. Near the 39-yard line, a 51-yard boot. Dean Marchak.
And Phil, we're about at the time in this football game as we're clicking down to the end of this 3rd quarter. You're going to see cream rise to the top. Both these teams are good football teams. Tech is playing an extraordinarily good football team. I mean, they're playing a good football game, I should say. They are really what Spike Dike wants them to be today. But TCU's got a lot of firepower. And I don't look for TCU to fold their tent and go home. They know the importance of this game. They lose this game, and they may be out of the race for the Southwest Conference Championship in the Cotton Bowl bid.
That's Bouvier Dale in motion. Play action. Swings it out to the near side. That is Ferris. He's cut from behind by Mitchell Benson. Ferris picked up 7, maybe 8. Clock stops with 18 seconds to play in the third quarter. Boy, Tony Jeffrey, what a tough day he has had. But then that has been the norm, the 3 games he has played against the Red Raiders.
Yeah, he has not had good games here. Everybody talks about his statistics, and he is an outstanding football player.
Yes, he is.
I mean, he's got a pro career ahead of him in the soon-to-be draft. But he has never played well against Texas Tech. We showed the statistic earlier about his yardage. He has never had a showcase day, so to speak.
That's Irvin Ferris plowing in behind Nathan Richburg and Charles Odiorn. Final play of the third period. Texas Tech out in front of TCU by 13. We'll be back with more football after these messages from your local station.
The year 51 yards. Today, he's only got 35 yards and 11 carries. That's, well, it's just that 3 yards a carry. And he came into this game, and he was averaging per carry 6.9 yards. So he's way under his norm.
And it is certainly a tribute to the Red Raiders defense. They have stuck him time and time again. Final 15 minutes of play. Texas Christian down by 13, but make no mistake about it, the Horned Frogs still very much in this ball game.
Well, one of the things that they have done, we talked about the keys to the game, and we can go over them as the game progresses into this fourth quarter. But they have not committed the turnover that has been so deadly to them this year.
Now, last year in Fort Worth, Jim Wacker's bunch 6th in the nation in rushing, but that day Tech held them to 77 yards, winning that ball game 36-14. That's Gray. He crosses the midfield stripe, and he is jumped on and knocked to the artificial surface by Floyd Terrell. And you go back 2 years ago, Dave, I touched on it at halftime right here in Lubbock. Texas Tech had not won a game in the conference when the Horned Frogs came roaring into Jones Stadium. And all the Raiders did was swarm TCU that day 2 years ago, 63-7. It was ultimately the only game Tech won in Southwest Conference play. First and 10. There's the draw. It is James McGowan.
Well, I think we're going to find out, and maybe we can get a look at the third quarter statistics. There they are. You're going to look at the yards rushing by Texas Tech. TCU 71, Texas Tech 199 yards rushing, 155. We talked about their balance, and they do have good balance. Look at the total yards, 350 to 150. And the 2 turnovers have not been crucial turnovers. The first one, where they fumbled down inside the goal line, that was bad, but they have not had the crucial turnover.
Sprinting to the left side goes Tolliver. He is going for it all. Pass intended for Eddie Anderson. Step-for-step coverage by the right corner, John Booty. Boy, Tolliver, well, he's got to love playing Texas Christian. He has had a career against the Horned Frogs.
He's got more yards passing in the 3 years he's played against these guys. Boy, oh boy. He has had quite a day against them. It just seems like he's kept them off balance all day. He's run them when he wanted to run them, and he's really used good running selections and excellent passing.
Play action. Going to the right side, got a receiver. It is Thurman. Tyrone Thurman had it. That is 2 passes he has dropped today. But Landon Newton and Greg Jones were all over the little guy out of Lee High School in Midland, Texas.
Well, there you are. There's the Red Raiders must. They must stop the run. They have done that. Commit no turnovers. I don't think they've had many turnovers. They had 2, but they haven't been the crucial ones. And boy, have they had a good performance by their quarterback. They have really had just an unbelievable day. He is 10 of 15 for 155 yards. That's 66% completion. That's a nice job.
Jamie Simmons' punt carries the end zone, and that'll stop the clock following a 43-yard punt. 13:36 to play. The Horned Frogs of TCU need a score. They'll have the football when Texas Tech are leading the Horned Frogs 27-14. Resco sprinting right, sets, now throws. The pass is caught. The tight end, Ricky Stone, no relation, a gain of a few.
Bill, we talked about the Red Raiders' musts. Let's look at TCU's musts. They had to run the ball. They have not run the ball at all. They had to stop the pass, well, the long pass, but Tolliver has had an outstanding day. They've had to pressure the quarterback. They have not pressured him. He has gotten the ball off. He's picked them apart. He's completing 67% of his passes. And this was a team that came in with 35 sacks. They have not put pressure on the quarterback today.
Well said. It is 1st and 10. Resco lets it go. It is cut. Oh, did Wayne Waddy take a shot from Michael Johnson? It is so hard to believe that Johnson played in the shadow of Brad Hastings.
And you want to see what it takes to play a receiver? It takes a catch like this. It's high. Now watch him get cut in half. Wham! Look at his head. It almost ripped it off his neck. What a concentration by Waddy on that play. To come down with that ball, that is a big league play. Tremendous catch by him. I'll tell you one thing. The first thing you want to do when you get hit like that is put your hands down to break the fall.
Of course, Wayne Waddy, the cousin of former NFL great Billy Waddy. That is Tony Jeffrey. Thus far, his longest run from scrimmage on the afternoon, 9 yards. Lemuel Stinson on the tackle.
And you ought to see Jeffrey out there. He's pointing down on the... I don't know what he's doing out there, but he's trying to get his teammates up. I was watching him in a huddle. He was pointing at guys, and it just looked like he's trying to get some oomph out there for his team.
Coming wide to the right, the bottom of your screen, it is Waddy on 1st and 10. That's Jeffrey. Look out! Boyd Cowan kept forcing him to the outside, and luckily so.
Well, look at him. Look at him right there. You can see the enthusiasm in his face. There's not much of a hole here. He's taking this game on himself. There's not a big hole there. He cuts through it. Now he gets down the sideline, breaks a tackle there, another tackle there. He's turning around now. There he's trying to set up the block. He doesn't get it, but he's taking the game upon himself, Bill.
A gain of 22 yards, his longest run from scrimmage on the day. Let's go. Swings it out to Jeffrey. He's across the 20, down near the 18. Brian Rollins with help from the strong safety Boyd Cowan. I want to remind all of you that at the end of today's game, Dave and I will be selecting the Coors Player of the Game. So keep watching and see perhaps if your selection matches ours.
Well, I can tell you that great athletes rise to the top in this situation. And I just see the momentum with Jeffrey in there just turning around a little bit. He looks like he's taking control.
Tony Darthard. Stopped by Tony Durden and Artis Jackson. Now, we looked at this earlier in the ball game. When you look down the list of outstanding running backs in this conference, Tony Jeffrey is now moved ahead of Ben Cowens, and he is not done yet.
Well, he could theoretically move up to about 3rd or 4th place. It's hard to displace those top two.
I don't think anybody will ever supplant Dickerson and Campbell. There's Jeffrey. Inside the 8, down near the 7. Donald Harris and Lemuel Stinson after a gain of 6.
Now you can watch Tony Jeffrey. He is a football player. We talked about him taking upon himself. He makes a nice move here to get outside, gets back in, gets his shoulders turned up, puts it down, and say he's got to be tired the number of times he's carried today. But there's no quitting that young man. I can tell you that.
That 22-yard carry a moment ago now gives him 30 carries of 20 yards or more in his career. He's got the football, and he cracks through the 5-yard line. Tony Durden, the middle linebacker. knocks him down after Jeffrey picks up 3.
Well, Phil, in the fourth quarter, this TCU team has been a very, very good football team. In the fourth quarter, they have outscored their opponents 2-1. And they're driving to try and do that right now. They need 2 scores to get back on top in this football game.
A drive that began at their own 20-yard line. Rasco has a receiver. Touchdown! Ricky Stone, the tight end.
What a catch by Ricky Stone. There's another baseball catch. The one arm, when you kind of falling out of bounds, you dive out there with one arm, and it's got to make Jim look at Wacker there. You think he's not a man of emotion, kind of laid back, quiet. We know the difference. You can see him spurring him on. Look at him. Everybody comes off that field, he congratulates.
Newman. He drills it.
And Phil, Ricky Stone is not known for his catches. He only had 12 coming in here, but he won't have a bigger one than this. Watch this catch. Look at that. One hand dives out, pulls it into his body, curls it back in, and he's got a touchdown. What a play. It's good. You're going to see it right in your camera here. He pulls it out on the fake, finds him. Watch this catch from ground level. One hand.
The class teams in all of football know how to play when the chips are down. We're seeing just that from Jimmy Wacker's Horned Frogs.
I'm pointing over there saying, give me the ball.
Out across the 31-yard line. McGowan will remain in the ball game as one of the running backs. There's the scoring drive. They went 80 yards. It took them 3 minutes and 36 seconds to get there. Ricky Stone, the tight end, a 4-yard touchdown catch from David Rasco.
Now, if you're Mr. Tolliver, you're coming out there and you're saying, hey, we're not quitting. We've been doing a lot of things right. We've passed. We've run when we had to. We've come up with the big plays. We've been able to control the game, and that's what he's good at.
James McGowan. He's a junior that a year ago had to sit out the entire year, academically ineligible.
And he's playing because Clifton Winston, their backup at that position, had to go home. Had a death in his family, and the funeral, I believe, is today, and he's back home at that. McGowan is filling in very well. Had no statistics coming into this game.
William Taylor Dykes, born in Lubbock. His parents on their way through Lubbock when his mom came into labor. Gain of maybe 1. The fullback, Isaac Garnett, for 1.
Look at the momentum starting to change a little bit. You can see in the beginning TCU was ahead, then all of a sudden Tech came back. Then Tech started to drive a little bit more. Now it looks as if it may be turning a little bit back towards TCU, especially with that 80-yard drive. That's got to give them some momentum offensively. They know if they can stop them on defense, that their offense now can finally move the ball. They've gotten untracked. You know, you talked about Spike Dykes. I stayed at his birthplace. They made it into a hotel over here, you know, the University Club.
Yes, they did. Jim Granberry always treats all of us from Raycom so very, very well. 9:01 to play in the ball game. That's James McGowan once more. He gains maybe 1. Now let's touch base on the goings-on in Gainesville, where Georgia is laying it on the Gators. That is now a final.
Oh, boy, how about that one there? Florida State, and they're laying it on Auburn. Auburn's got a whale of a football team. That's, of course, in the second quarter.
Tony Jeffrey. He wants back in that ball game right now, but unfortunately, he does not go both ways for Jim Wacker.
Well, I'll tell you, he's a real stallion out there. He's a thoroughbred. He wants to get back in that football game. I could just see him. I just happened to be watching him, and I'll tell you right now, he was pointing at everybody. Just get me the ball and let's get this thing on the road.
2nd and 9. Tolliver dumps it right over the center and almost got the official, intended for James Gray.
Well, you'll see the pocket crushed down around him as Tolliver takes the ball. You see, he only takes about a 6-step drop here. And when the ball comes down, watch and see if his arm doesn't get hit. Got hit right there. The official really, and I think that was Spradlin.
Yes, it was.
He's been on him all day long. Boy, I'll tell you one thing. They are coming, but they're so close to getting him. But Tolliver reads that blitz well and reads pressure well. You can see his statistics. He's got good statistics, 155 yards on 10 completions and only 16 attempts.
Wayne Walker to the top of your screen. That's Tyrone Thurman in the slot. He is in motion coming near side. Tolliver looking right, throwing. It is for Wayne Walker. Oh, what a catch by the junior wide receiver out of Waco. Dave, here's a guy that's averaging 22 yards a catch.
Well, and you always hear the famous, he caught it in the seam. Right there is the seam. You see the seam right there. He's in the seam. It's a 3-deep drop. He cuts in front of the back men, behind the front men. That's a seam catch, and Tolliver threw a rocket right to him.
And he's right on his average. A gain of 22. 7:56 to play on the ball game. Dale is in motion. There's the draw. James Gray cuts it inside to the Horned Frog 30. Fred Washington, the sophomore out of Denison, on the tackle. Want to remind you once again that Dave and I will be looking for the player of the game, the Coors player of the game. So stay with us. That's the situation. Tech 27, TCU 21.
I don't think that Walker has caught a bigger pass than what he just caught. That is a big catch.
Walker ranked number 2 in the conference, behind, of course, Jason Phillips of Houston. Tolliver looking, could be interference. There's no flag. I don't believe it. Pass intended for Anthony Manyweather. Andre Spencer had him around the neck before the ball got there.
And if you looked at the heads of Spencer and the receiver, they both got up and they both started looking around. Everybody, and that was Manyweather. He was back there. Watch this right here on the tail end here. Now there's the pass. And I hope we have this play long enough, but the pass is in the ground. See, it wasn't catchable. But when they both got up, the first thing they did was look around. Look right there. Everybody looking around. You see heads looking. I'm looking this way. You're looking that way. Everybody's looking for a flag, and there was none.
3rd and 5 now from the 30. Tolliver swings it out. James Gray's got it. And he's now got the first down inside the 20-yard line. It's stopped at the 15.
What a block by Wayne Walker. We talk about the great receiving, the great catch he just made, but you won't see a better block by a wide receiver as he picks this up. Walker's going to come into your screen right there. He makes a nice block and makes that play. You can see James Gray pick up his feet, don't get tackled low. What a day James Gray has had.
3 catches for almost 50 yards. Gray has also run the ball for 167 yards. So in the tandem department, he is over 200 yards. 216 to be exact. That's Irvin Ferris. Dave, we've talked about Billy Joe Tolliver, James Gray. Wayne Walker has had a superb afternoon, but none of it's possible without the stellar play of that offensive line. Stickles, McBride, Lee, Chris Schaefer, Charles Odiorn. Coming into this ball game, they had only allowed 10 sacks, and they have played outstanding in the trenches today.
Well, both coaches told us that that's where the game was going to be won or lost. And it's been quite a battle because TCU has that vaunted defense. Everybody knows that their front 7 are just outstanding. There's the voice again. Oh boy, and everybody, all the defensive players, they point over. Now, maybe somebody pulled them off that time, but you can see the jump. Now, this one here, I think the guard may have moved. That might have been Chris Schaefer that moved on that play. We'll have to look at it and see. Oh, I know what it was. It was a quarterback pulled out. Watch the quarterback in this situation. You see him move right there? Well, you can see now, if you look at that again, you can see the hand of the guard move. Now watch the guard, number 65. Watch his hand in there. No, we can't see it from right there. It's kind of on the back side of it. I saw him pulling up on the end zone play. I saw him lift his hand up, but it's a dead ball foul.
2nd down now and 12 for the 12-yard line. McGowan is stopped by Tracy Simeon. Simeon, a nose guard a year ago because Kent Trammell was redshirted. And also the fact that a year ago, the Horned Frogs played the 3-4 defense.
And you know, a more important thing on this drive as we look at TCU's defense is that this drive has consumed over 4.5 minutes already, and the clock just keeps on ticking down.
On 3rd and 9 from the 15, Eddie Anderson to the top of your screen. Walker's in the slot, but give right up the gut, not much. Fred Washington all over the fullback Irvin Ferris, a gain of 2.
Now I don't want to question Spike Dykes and his team, but in that situation you almost say, well, why don't you pass? It's, you know, it's 3rd down and about 10 yards to go. But I think that what he's saying is we don't want to take a chance with an interception. There's a lot of things can happen on a pass play. If we get the field goal, we're 10 points up, and Sechrist has been very, very accurate so far. And that, of course, would put them 9 points up, which is another big factor.
Sechrist, he drills it. With more than a touchdown lead, the clock is stopped here at Jones Stadium in Lubbock. 4:31 remaining in the ball game. The Red Raider is riding again. We'll be back in a moment.
Well, team's out of it, but not TCU, not in this situation. They've scored too many times. Texas Tech knows that. They know they still have to come out and play defense for this last 4.5 minutes.
Sechrist, a good kickoff when he needed it most. Denying both Reggie Davis and Jared Delaney the shot at a big return.
And I look for Tony Jeffrey. I'll tell you, he's a winner. You can look right there. We've got that feel for winning again. We don't want to lose it. That's Tony Jeffrey. He is a winner. He's a thoroughbred. He's not just an old nag out there. That boy's got some, he's got some class. And I think you'll see him again take charge. You could just feel it on that last drive. The only problem is that they need 9 points, so they've got to go upstairs. They've got to pass. But you may see Jeffrey come downfield and catch those little swing passes.
That's a good point. Thus far in the ball game, Jeffrey has been utilized strictly as a swing receiver. Rasco chased out of the pocket. There's Jeffrey again on that swing. He's put the ball across the 30-yard line. Watch out, this guy could go.
I want to tell you, that's a thoroughbred. I talked about coming out of the backfield for a swing pass. You go to the thoroughbreds in this situation. Look at the catch, the concentration. Look at him set up blocks. Okay, he's got a seam. Watch him explode through this ball. I'll tell you right now, that young man is a champion. He is a champion. He's carried the ball 30-some times today, and he's not quitting yet.
Rasco's inside the 5-yard line. There is no question. Tony Jeffrey, Texas Christian's all-time big play artist. Gallops of 82, 81, and 80 yards in his career. The first Southwest Conference running back ever to have 3 or more touchdown runs of 80 yards or more. And that catch and ensuing run was good for 71 yards.
He's got over 100 yards received. Look at him. He's bent over in the huddle there, but he takes a deep breath and he lines back up on the field.
First time in his career that he has been over 100 yards in receiving. Rasco looking. Lets it go. Touchdown, Horned Frogs. Ricky Stone.
I want to tell you something. I'm watching Jeffrey on that play. That kid is dog-tired. I know it's a touchdown pass to Stone, but Jeffrey, the back of his pants are dirty. His jersey's dirty. It's torn. It's pulled out of him. But that young man right there feels up. Look at his pants. Look at how dirty he is. How do you get that dirty on AstroTurf? Boy, I'm telling you right now, he sweat all the way through.
That score took less than 1 minute off the clock. Newman's point after is perfect. The clock is stopped now with 3:33 remaining. The Horned Frogs have got to hold the Raiders and get the football back.
You can see now what Rasco is looking for is a tight end sneak. He finally sees his tight end come free. There's the big catch. The big man, 6'5", 258 pounds. You can see it's play action over here down the line, and it's a tight end sneak back across. There's Jeffrey getting his little block.
We thought at the outset we would have an offensive extravaganza. Don't you dare leave your television. We're not done yet.
May, in fact, go ahead and kick that onside kick.
Might try and dump it in just over the front line. Nope, they're going to go deep with it. Walker. He's got it at the 15. Out across the 20. The 26. And he is smothered there. Tackled by Roscoe Tatum.
This is Tony Jeffrey on this last thing to set up the drive. Watch the three factors in this catch. Watch the catch at the end right there. One hand brings it in, disrupts, misses a tackle there. Now here he cuts back across the field. He's got great downfield vision. He can see things. Now here comes the explosive run. You're looking at a man who's played the entire football game. Of course, he's being run down by a defensive back. But what speed he has. That's Lemuel Stinson, and he's not near the size. He's 5'10", 170.
First down, the ball at the 27-yard line. That's James Gray. He is wrapped up by Tracy Simeon, the left end. And the clock is stopped by the Horned Frogs.
And there's the storyline as we look at Jeffrey with 187 total yards. A lot of that passing. Stone has caught 2 tight end touchdowns. Texas Tech, Tolliver has had a great day, as has James Gray.
Tolliver talking things over with the brain trust on the near sideline. The clock is stopped. 3:22 to play on the ball game. We are poised for quite a finish in Lubbock. Game, Texas Tech has a lead. They have the football. The Horned Frogs want that elongated spheroid. Tolliver puts it up. It is almost intercepted. Eddie Anderson, the intended receiver. Andre Spencer, the left corner, was back there on the coverage, and I think it was great coverage.
I thought it was too. Andre Spencer's playing this ball. The ball is not delivered sharply because Tolliver was under a tremendous rush, never got his feet underneath him and could stab. You can see that the ball's thrown. Look how high it's thrown. Now Spencer comes over here. He doesn't interfere. He puts the hand in front. Now it looked like his right hand might have come on the back, but I think it was just a great play. He played around him.
Now a crucial situation for the Red Raiders. Perhaps, Dave, the offensive play of the game.
I think this is the biggest play of the game for Texas Tech.
Play action. The throw. It is incomplete. Trying to screen it out to Irvin Ferris. And you can credit the charging defensive line, Tracy Simeon and Greg Jones, for putting the heat on Billy Joe.
Well, all's not lost for Texas Tech if you're a Texas Tech fan out there. This is a safe play. What happens is Tolliver sees the rush, doesn't have really time to set it up. The back kind of gets stuck in the backfield and doesn't really get out here. But they're going to call upon their defense to win this football game for them.
Jamie Simmons. Oh, man, what a punt. Philando Newton has got it to the 13, now has to turn around. He's back across the 20, but Jamie Simmons, the punt of his lifetime. 59 yards.
What a time to get a great punt. What a time to get a great punt. That is his longest punt, probably the longest punt that he's ever had. I know it's the longest punt this year because he had one last year, I think, at 70 yards, had a long roll. But what a punt. 59 yards. Well, they're officially marking that, I think, Bill, at 60, aren't they?
Yes, they are. In fact, Dave, you're right. He had a 70-yarder a year ago, and guess who it was against?
Oh, it's got to be against TCU.
Against the Horned Frogs of TCU. And now they're on their feet here at Jones Stadium. Fresco throws. The ball is caught by Ricky Stone. He's across the 44-yard line, and Tony Durden knocks him down.
What a catch. Where has this Ricky Stone been? I cannot believe him. He's got 12 catches. Watch this catch again. He looks like he's got a right fielder's glove on there. Look at that thing. That is an unbelievable catch. Then he picks it down, makes a nice move. He's a big target at 6'5", about 258 pounds, but he's more known for his blocking.
What emotion here at Jones Stadium. Fresco airing it out again, and it's caught! Jared Delaney! What a turnaround here in Lubbock. Jared Delaney. His first touchdown catch of the year. And it covered 55 yards. Newman pecks on the point after. And now, oh, what a turnaround. The Horned Frogs ahead of the Red Raiders, 35-30. But don't you dare go away. Spike Dykes' bunch, not done yet.
What a catch by Jared Delaney. Now on this play, Everett makes a crucial mistake. He goes for the interception and misses it. You can see him flash by, and there goes Jared Delaney down the sideline. Unbelievable. That might have been Donald Harris on that play. Let me look at it again. Maybe we can see it. You'll see the safety or the corner come across. Now there's the throw. Watch the safety coming for an interception. Yes, that is. That's number 2, Donald Harris, trying to make the interception. And that's a crucial play, because if you don't make it, Delaney, as he is there, is down the sideline.
It is a happy bunch of Horned Frogs. David Rasco, 13 of 17, 258 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Correction, 4 touchdowns. Coming into this ball game all season long, he had thrown for only 3. He now has 7 on the year. Out across the 39-yard line goes Dudley McAfee. He was a walk-on from Wichita Falls. And now the red and black come to their feet as one here in Lubbock, Texas.
Well, you can't count the Red Raiders out.
Nope.
Anytime you've got an arm like Tolliver has, you're still in this football game with 2:27 left. He can drive his team easily 60 yards. Look at the change. Look at the swing there. 21 points scored by TCU in this fourth quarter.
First down. Tolliver sets up. He's got time. Delivers. It is cut. Wayne Walker has it at the 46-yard line. It was Tyrone Thurman, not Wayne Walker.
Now watch Thurman on this play. He's running a down pattern. He knows he's got the defender curled. And look, he just curls underneath him. Right there, he's wide open. Great pass. And this time he concentrates and looks it all the way in. He comes down with a big catch.
First down, the ball at the 45-yard line. In motion, it's Gray. Tolliver drops. Now steps up, delivers. It's caught. Irvin Ferris is still on his feet at the 25, the 20, and he's out of bounds.
You'll see Ferris coming out of there. Cool character in the backfield there. That's Tolliver. Ferris breaks the tackle there. He's got a real compact body. He's got that great leg strength. And he comes down with a big, big catch. They're down. They picked up about 40 yards in the last 2 plays.
Tolliver, 14 of 27, 231 yards. That's Gray. Can he turn the corner? No, he cannot. Down at the 20, Tracy Simeon covered him. Clock is still running now, a minute 46, a minute 45. Texas Christians, 2 touchdowns here in the fourth period, Dave. 80 yards in 58 seconds, 77-yard drive in 25 seconds.
Well, when you got thoroughbreds, it don't take long to drive. But they've got a thoroughbred out there in James Gray, and they've got another thoroughbred at quarterback in Tolliver. So I wouldn't count them out yet. They're knocking on the door now.
Tolliver, he's going for it, and overthrows a receiver at the 4-yard line. Eddie Anderson outstretched, the junior out of St. Mark's in Dallas.
And the way these 2 wide receivers, both Eddie Anderson and Wayne Walker, run the crossing patterns, it's a great pass for Tolliver. Now he's got to concentrate on something right now. It's third down, 9 yards to go. He's got to be able to pick up the 9 yards on the play, or else it brings up 4th. I would look for him to go to an intermediate pass, try to get that crossing pattern to either Anderson or Wayne Walker, maybe swing out of the backfield, but make it a safe pass.
Tolliver, it appears, maybe audibilizing at the line. Short drop, sideline, it is caught, and I believe he got the first down. Eddie Anderson caught the ball short of the first down, did a 360 and dove for the yardage.
Well, they say about Eddie Anderson that he makes the tough catch. You have to respect his speed. So the cornerback played off him too far. He made an out pattern. He was thinking in pattern like I was thinking, and now they're in hurry-up situations. We click down to a minute.
1 minute exactly. Oliver going for it.
Tell you one thing, that was the crossing pattern that I talked about. They run that pattern fantastically. When they cut on that mark and going. When you say crossing pattern, it's where you run about 11, 12 yards down and you plant and you cut across the field. And that's where where Billy Joe Tolliver found him on a crossing pattern, wide open. TCU had blitzed. They didn't pick up properly, and the results were 7 points. Now they've got to go for 2 points in this situation. One really won't help them. If they're able to get 2 points in this, then they come out with 38, and a field goal only ties. You know what happened a few years ago here? I think it was 81. They played to a 39-39 tie.
In fact, 3 of the last 4 games played here in Lubbock have ended in ties between these two teams. The one exception occurred 2 years ago, and the Red Raiders throttled the Frogs 63-7. They're going for 2. 54 seconds to play. Scott Tolman engineering the offense. Rolling left, puts it up, and it is intercepted. Bill Young, the tight end, wanted a pass interference call, and I'm not so certain I disagree with his gesture.
Well, there was a lot of pressure on Tolman. Now let's watch in the corner of the end zone. Look right there. Oh. Now there he goes down. He was kind of he may have gotten his feet tangled up on the play. I didn't see an arm come out and push, but I think he got his feet tangled up on the play.
The clock is stopped with 54 seconds to play. We have had 3
down pass. He's a crossing pattern. He finds Anderson right down the seam. Look how open he is. Nobody even near him. Crossing pattern, and Walker he found. You can watch this play. There's a breakdown here. Walker is 80. He's cutting inside. If it's man-to-man, number 11, John Booty, just breaks the coverage. But wow, what a setup we got for player of the game. We got so many candidates. You got to talk about Tolliver, James Gray, Ricky, the quarter thing. Oh man, there's so many guys. It's unbelievable today.
Sechrist really boots it. And the Horned Frogs will start from their own 20. I want to thank our spotters, Texas Christian's Charlie Dirker for Texas Tech, Richard Kilwine, our stats man who was with us week in and week out, Don McDevitt. A job well done, gentlemen. 54 seconds to play in this ball game.
Well, let me give you a couple more candidates. How about Walker and those great catches? Eddie Anderson made that big catch. On the other side, we've got Rasco's had a great day. Jeffrey coming in there and leading his team. I think it's going to be right down to the last minute to decide this one.
Well, we are inside that last minute. Rasco puts it up. It is cut. Reggie Davis has the football. Eric Everett on the stop. Clock is running inside 40 seconds now. 77 yards away. Intercepted. The senior. Last year, number 23 was a wide receiver, but the call went out. Spike Dykes needed defensive backs this year, and Stinson said, "Coach, I'll try it." This year, he has now just picked off interception number 4, the intended receiver, Tony Jeffrey. He had it, The ball bounced off his fingertips, and Stinson was there. Scott Coleman in at quarterback, and now whistles sound.
What a game. What a lot of emotion here today. It's been an unbelievable day.
Today's game has been brought to you by Coors Light, by the Jefferson Pilot Companies, by Conoco, by Rockwell, and by Coke and your Coca-Cola bottlers.
Well, there's a dejected Tony Jeffrey on the sideline, but he played his heart out today.
Yes, he did. The player of the game this afternoon, we're pleased to announce our Coors Player of the Day, James Gray of Texas Tech. 24 carries, Dave, 168 yards, 3 catches for 49 yards. Talk about tandem yardage, 217 yards for the sophomore out of Trimble Tech in Fort Worth.
And I give a special honorable mention to Wayne Walker, Tolliver, Eddie Anderson, their offensive line. Their defense has played really well. They've really come off the ball. They just played an outstanding football game. It's a shame that one of the team, you always hear this, but it really is a shame because the momentum swung back and forth, and TCU did not have its great day today. And Jim Wacker, you can see the disappointment on his face, but really his team played their hearts out today.
This has been a tough place for Texas Christian to win. They have only walked away from the Plains twice in their last 12 games. Their last win, Dave, back in 1972 here in Lubbock. And oddly enough, that was the last time both of these teams came into this ball game with winning records.
And you can hear the 47,000. I don't know how many are here, but there's a crowd here singing, hey, 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 goodbye.
Take a look at that score. Tech 36, the Horned Frogs 35. And that should be the last play of this ball game. Billy Joe Tolliver, a superb afternoon as they count down the final seconds here. Billy Joe finishes the day 16 of 30, 251 yards, and 1 touchdown. What a day for Johnny Gray. James Gray, 24 carries, 168 yards, and 2 touchdowns. The games of the Southwest Conference continue next Saturday on Raycom as TCU's exciting Tony Show returns to meet the powerful Texas Longhorns. The battle for the Cotton Bowl.